Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam tabaraka wa salama tasliman kasiran kasira amma ba'd. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. My dear brothers and respected elders, our purpose of life, our aim of life is to become the lover of Allah. I've told you many times, again and again. So far, since, the time of Prophet ﷺ until today, until I told you, there's nobody knows and nobody is talking about the purpose of man's life. They don't know, or they do not care about it. They don't put any attention to it. Or because of the extreme desire to accumulate, amass wealth and this material things of this world. So they are blinded. They are blinded from knowing, from thinking, focusing on the very purpose of their life, which is to become the lover of Allah. They covered it. The very purpose of their life is unknown to them, because they have become blinded by the worldly desires. That's why it has never been mentioned. You have heard many times? No. Before this? Samad? No. You don't hear anybody talking. Isn't it? Sheikh Abdul Wahab said the purpose of our life is to do the work of dawah. It's wrong. He's the first person I ever heard saying the purpose of our life, which is in Malay or maqsad of our life. Maqsad is purpose. It's also in Arabic, probably. He's the only one I ever hear. I don't hear this from the scholars in Nizamuddin or any other scholars anywhere, anytime. Because they don't worry. They don't want to know, or they are being not made known by Allah as to what is their very purpose of life. This is such a very tragic things which has happened to the man. The entire mankind, that they don't even know what is the purpose of their life. So when they make the purpose of their life to accumulate wealth, to become rich person, and so they start concentrating on listing the names of the most rich people in the world. See? So they are busy until today. Because everybody thinks that the purpose of their life is to accumulate wealth, which is wrong. Very wrong. Allah has not created us with that purpose of life. Rashidi purpose of life, Yazid purpose of life, it's all the same. The entire world, everybody is making without knowing, without thinking whether it's true or not. They simply make the purpose of their life is to accumulate wealth and to become rich. They never think whether it's right or no, but they're just pursuing that path without knowing whether it's a true or it's a wrong path. They just simply born to the earth, into the earth, with that aim. Being nurtured, being told by their parents, and their parents being told by their grandparents, and so on and so forth, throughout centuries. The day when the man is born, the man is created, the day when he's born, when he's created, Adam, his children, till today. They know their purpose of life is to become rich, to acquire wealth. You ask Rashidi, what is his aim of life? It's to become rich. He's doing the work of dawah. He seems to be praying, fasting in the month Ramadan. That's about all he's doing about Islam, fasting month Ramadan and praying. And he said, I am already Muslim, which is not. But his purpose of life remains until today. Even though he knows, he has been told by me again and again, the purpose of your life is to become the lover of Allah, and yet he keep on sticking to his old purpose of life, which is to become rich. And to him, to become rich is successful. So they say, become rich and successful. And there are many, motivation talks. In order to motivate people to become rich and successful. So they make their talks, how to become rich. So in the lecture, they ask people to look at money and then to put the money and to kiss the money. So this is my God. This is what I want. So they are motivated. And even these scholars, or not these scholars, these motivators, they use hadith. Hadith of Muhammad Sallam, that today you must be richer than yesterday. Tomorrow, it's not hadith, but they modified the hadith. Today you must be richer than yesterday. Tomorrow must be richer than today. Which in the actual hadith, your iman and amal should be better today than yesterday. Tomorrow better than today, but they change it. Your money should be more today than yesterday. Tomorrow more than today. Whole world, the motivational talk is only focused on to become rich. If you interview any actresses and actors, how they live their life, they will always focus on this path. The path to become rich and highly glamoured and highly become the artist, the most renowned artist. If they are no more become renowned artists, not having so much money, then they were thinking this is their downfall. They will become sad. No more glamour. So everybody is rushing to become famous, to become rich, to become well known. Don't you see in the Facebook and all in the papers, what are written is all about this purpose of life, to accumulate wealth, isn't it? The entire world is. Whole entire world, not from today, not from yesterday, many years, centuries ago. Even the time of the Romans, the time of the Pharaoh, the time of way back, the ancient civilization, all the foundation of their purpose, foundation of their life, the purpose of their life is to become rich, to accumulate wealth. Isn't it so? Am I telling the truth or not?
True.
Samad? So until today, I'm the only one in the whole entire mankind, who is telling the man the correct thing. What do you think?
Yes.
Am I telling the correct thing? That the purpose of life of the man is to become the lover of Allah. Have you ever heard from anybody else? I'm the first one, ever. You just imagine. What about before, at the time of Jesus, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, Prophet, all the purpose of their life is accumulate wealth, but I don't see any or hear or read, narration of hadith that Rasulullah says the purpose of your life is. He's saying as a hadith Qudsi. There's a hadith Qudsi. Allah says, make the maqsad of your life, purpose, to get me, to help me. You aim of your life and make me your lover. But it's not Nabi who said it. It's Allah who said it. Nabi do not interpret that more or elaborate it more, isn't it? If you elaborate this hadith Qudsi, that means the words of Allah being narrated by Rasulullah. Make me, Allah says, as your lover, as your purpose, as your aim, and make me as your lover. You help me, you get me, or you are successful to make me as your lover, then you have everything. There's no one who elaborate this hadith, more than I do, I think. By the grace of Allah. So, my dear brothers, our purpose of life is to become the lover of Allah. Before we become the lover of Allah, we have to become the true believers with the good deeds. The person who can enter paradise are the people who are the true believers with the good deeds and the lover of Allah. Other than that, we'll have to go to hellfire. Probably after some time, they will enter paradise. But they are not known to Allah as a successful person. Person who is successful to Allah is the one who enters paradise and saved from hellfire. And the people who are able to enter paradise and save from hellfire is only two group of people. The true believer, the good deeds, and the lover of Allah. So Allah says, pray tahajjud. Istiqamah. It's a means towards attaining proximity to me. It's in the hadith. Pray tahajjud. It's a practice of the pious people who have come before you. And it's a means to attain proximity. You know proximity? Nearness. That means it's a means to become my lover. Okay? So when you do gash only during the day, inviting people to ta'muruna, inviting people to go, forbidding people, but you're not standing at night praying, you probably can attain the level of becoming the true believer of the good deeds. But you will never be able to attain the level of or status of the lover of Allah. In order to become the lover of Allah, you have to do both. The work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil during the day, and at night you must stand in salat. Then you are moving towards becoming the true believer of the good deeds, and then you become the lover of Allah. If you don't, you are not istiqamah or steadfast in your night prayer, or your night prayer are not good, So we should do two works, very important works, in order to attain our purpose of life. The work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil, and to pray tahajjud. Rashidi is doing that. But until today, he cannot become even the true believer of the good deeds. That means his work of inviting people to good and forbidding people and the work of praying is of no value to Allah. His tahajjud also have no value, and the work of dawah also of no value. He doesn't follow what I said. I do what I said, and I've achieved my purpose of my life to become the lover of Allah. But you have not followed my what I've told you to do. Even the gash and the jawla, or the work of dawah or the work of tabligh, the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people, also you don't follow. So as a result, you don't get the iman. You don't become the true believer with good deeds. And plus, your night prayer is just a shambles. You don't remember Allah, while in salat. No devotion and concentration, no ikhlas. So you are praying, but not achieving the purpose of life, the love of Allah. How do I know? I know. Because I asked Allah whether you are all the true believers with good deeds. None of you, except Samad, able to attain by force. Allah forced him. Then he attained a little bit above the basic requirement to become the true believer with the good deeds. But the rest of you, neither become the true believer with the good deeds, nor the lover of Allah. So what happened? What's wrong? There's nothing wrong except that you do not follow what I said. That's a simple reason. But the entire world is seeing these people, the student of Dr. Nasoha should be the lover of Allah. Yes, they should be, provided they follow. So they make a shame, the shaitan is working on them to make people think bad of me. How could the work of which has been taught by Professor Dr. Nasoha is a good work, when all the person who are learning from him are unable to become the true believer of the good deeds, and so we will not follow him. The shaitan do not want people to follow me, because they say those who have followed him are not able to become. But that's immaterial. You should not look at them. You should look at me. If I don't become a true believer of good and love Allah, then you don't follow me. You don't follow the one who follows me, who seemingly follow me. Because that is the work of shaitan. You should look at me. If I'm able to become a true believer of good deeds and a lover of Allah, then to follow me exactly, and you will become one. But if you follow my followers, or the one who seemingly follow me, you won't. Or similarly now, we cannot follow the companions of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have to follow Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Some companion of Prophet Sallallahu may be the lover of Allah. Some maybe not. Some may be not even the true believer of the good deeds. So we cannot pick up any, particularly at the time when Prophet have died and passed away. There are some people who have the belief that can follow even the companion of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But that is not true. We cannot follow even the companion of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because they are humans. They don't follow properly exactly as told by Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But we follow Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam because he has achieved the goal, the purpose of life. He is the lover of Allah, So, is there any of the companion? If there is, the lover of Allah. But we are not sure. So similarly, in my case, you cannot follow those people like Yazid, Rashidi, because they follow me. No. They don't follow me properly. They are not able to become even the true believer with good deeds. What more to become the lover of Allah? So you have to follow me. You have to see me doing Gash and follow my lifestyle since I was 21. Full with sacrifices to the limit. Many people, if you ask, they will know who is Dr. Nasoha when in the early days, during his early days in doing the work of Dawah, how he behaved. So that's the way on how the love of dunya has been taken out from my heart. The love of other than Allah has been taken out from my heart, in order for the love of Allah to go deep into my heart. Like Yazid, he doesn't follow me, but people, shaitan make him. Shaitan is working hard on him not to follow me. I told him, you want to become true believer again? You must do this work. At the same time, you must divorce your wife, so that the love of Allah, the kalima which you will utter during the Ghash will enter into your heart. If your heart is full with the love of dunya, no matter how many thousands of times or millions of times you are talking about the kalima will not be able to enter into your heart because your heart is full with the love of other than Allah. But he doesn't follow. So people say, how come? He doesn't follow. The problem is he doesn't follow me. You know how the gate to having deen, or the gate to have Islam is obedience. The gate is not open, closed, no obedience. How come you have piety? How could you have taqwa? How could you have, you have iman in your heart? You cannot become the true believer of the good deeds. You can only become normal people with little iman. The shaitan is happy. As long as you can't enter paradise, I'm okay. My work is to make you to enter hellfire with me, even though you're doing Ghash. I will not make the kalima which you uttered during the Ghash enter into your heart. For that, I will make you not to do this work with sacrifice. So Yazid is not doing this work with sacrifice. He do not want to make sacrifice, because why? To make sacrifice means to sacrifice what you love. He says, I am not willing to sacrifice what I love. So Rashidi do not want to sacrifice his money in doing this work. He borrow money and telling the person, I will pay. But till today he cannot pay. And the answer for that, I don't have money. He giving a reason, I don't have money, I'm poor. That's why I'm loaning money and keep on loaning money and going in the path of Allah, and people say, oh, sacrifice so much. They don't know he borrow money from people. People are willing to give money because they said, we don't want to go in the path of Allah, we let Rashidi go. He got no money. We give them money and we are okay, we get the rewards. So Rashidi is in the pretext of believing that he's making sacrifice. He's not making any sacrifice. If he spend his own money, that he earned with his sweat, then he loves that money. He spend that money, then the love of dunya will come out. If you spend other people's money, you won't take out the love of the money from your heart. That's what happened to Rashidi. Like to pretend to others, he's making sacrifice by going to Taman. He knows how to talk. He's good in talking, in convincing others. And then when he go for Ghash, when somebody scolded him, he will scold that person back. Even worse than what that person has scolded him. He is very angry. In doing the work like this, the love of other than Allah will never leave his heart, and the love of Allah never enter into his heart. That's why Rashidi is making tahajjud also at time, doing Ghash also, but he has not even become the true believer of the good deeds until today. That means he's not doing the work correctly. I'm telling you this because when you come to Malaysia, you see the one who follow me, you don't be surprised. They are not becoming the true believer of the good deeds, and you say my work is wrong. You look at me. I've become the lover of Allah. They are not. They're not even become. So you don't follow what they do. You just listen and do what they say. They will teach you how to do the Ghash, you follow, but you don't follow what they do. You follow what Rasul Salam do. Because they are not doing right thing. It's their choice. I cannot force them to become correct. I cannot force them to become the true believer of the good deed, because I'm only telling them, but they are not following. So don't become like them, who listen and who don't follow. They are just like the Jews. The Jews listen and they don't follow. Rashidi and very long time following me and Yazid, but they don't follow me. As a result, even today, to this day, I ask Allah, he's not even the true believer of the good deed. That is evidence to prove they are not following and they are not obeying. Isn't it so? If they truly become, then that means they are obeying. When they don't become after so long of following me, that means they don't follow and they don't obey. I must say that they are not obedient. So they cannot get angry with me because I know it. I know it because I can ask Allah as to whether these people have becoming true believers of good deeds or not. Not to talk about the love of Allah, none of them. Samad is only able to become the true believers of good deeds, a little above the normal standard of Iman required to become the true believers of good deeds, little above. The rest are not a true believer of good deeds, but when they come here, they will teach you how to do the work, they will do the work, but don't look at them. Just listen and obey. Don't look at them. Okay? So the Sahaba are the same. You know, when Sahaba, after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ, they went to Khuruj. Their Khuruj is to fight. They say to the king, you accept Islam. If you don't want, then you pay jizya. If you do not want, we'll fight with you. Don't follow this. This is not what being told by Muhammad ﷺ. It's not being done by Muhammad ﷺ. As a result of doing this, the Sahaba have acquired the love of dunya instead of Iman. I know. As a result of doing the work of inviting people to good, forbidding people from evil in the way which is not shown by Muhammad ﷺ, the way they like, you know. They say, you enter Islam. If you don't, pay jizya. If you don't, we fight. 3 days. He went to see the king. They went. They sent one day, an envoy. The next day, the third day, if they're not paying them money, they don't enter Islam, then they start war. This is what they're doing. And this is wrong. Nobody say wrong all this while. Nobody. I'm the first one. Because Nabi Sasa had never done this. Has never done. During his time, he never do this. Never Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, enter Islam if you don't pay jizya, if not we fight you. No. These are done by the companions. And we have the belief that they are also right. We can follow them if we wish. You just imagine today, you go to tell America or the Soviet Union, you will enter Islam. If not, you pay jizya. If not, we fight with you. They say, you know, go to hell. We'll fight you. Definitely will defeat you. That is not the way. The way which is done by the Sahaba or the companion can only be done by them during that time when they are powerful. When they are weak, so we cannot do that work. So a sunnah is not something that we can do only when we are strong. A sunnah is something that we can do at all times. A sunnah is to invite people with love. No force. Even if they hurt you, do harm to you, bear patience until they declare war to you. Then you have to declare war also. Even though you don't have any means to fight. But you know very well, Allah will help you and make you win. As Allah has helped the Sahaba and the Prophet ﷺ at the time of Badr. They do not want to fight. Rasulullah do not want to have war with the Quraysh. Even he took people, you know, Sahaba with him, not to fight with Abu Sufyan, Kabilah, but to stop him from reaching Mecca, so that they will take all the weapons which Abu Sufyan has bought, you know, in Sham. Abu Sufyan has bought weapons in Sham to bring to Mecca to fight the Muslims. So Rasulullah knew this. So he take a group, not with the intention to have war, to stop and to prevent, to make the attempt to fight, to have war fail. But Allah doesn't make it fail. Allah make it happen. That Nabi Sallallahu have to have a war. Allah says, I know you don't like it, but I make it. So finally, Rasul Salam and the Sahaba being made to fight. They got no weapons because they are not prepared. They hardly have anything. And they have to fight because the kuffar have decided to fight and declare war. They don't declare war to people like the companion after the demise of Rasulullah. If we don't pay jizya, we fight. They don't do that. So why we don't follow the Prophet Sallam, the way of inviting people to us? The reason why we don't follow, because we love dunya. You know, the Sahaba after the demise of Rasulullah, they tend to love dunya and they start to modify into their own way of asking people to believe in Islam by force. That's why if the Orientalist says Islam is spread by sword, it is true to a certain extent. If they see how Islam is spread after the demise of Rasulullah, but if they see how Islam is spread during the time of Rasulullah, it is not spread by sword. Has never been. Because Nabi Sallallahu has never waged any war against anybody. At the time when he is powerful, he entered Mecca with special instruction to make there is no war, there's no bloodshed. He said whoever in his house will be saved. Whoever in the Masjid Haram will be saved. Whoever in the house of Abu Sufyan will be saved. So everybody stay their home. So everybody, Rasulullah with the Sahaba entered Mecca, you know, with no fight. What they do? They make tawaf around Kaaba, praying to Allah. The whole Mecca is quiet. You know, kingdom was surprised. They say Mecca is conquered, but I didn't hear anything. It was quiet. So what has happened? So Hindun went out of her house and went towards Masjid al-Haram. Then he saw people praying and crying for the hidayat of the Quraysh. He said, these are the people that we want to fight all this while. Oh, they are very good people. Then she embraced Islam. You see, my brother, and the husband of one Sahabiya ran away from Rasulullah. Naturally, they ran away when Rasulullah went into Mecca. The wife went and rushed him. You know, reaching, they say, oh, my husband, come back to Mecca. Rasulullah, I'm not going to kill you. They give you time for 4 months. Huh? Really? So when he came to Mecca, met Rasulullah, really, you give me times? Yes. I don't force you. So this is the way Islam is preached. We don't follow other than the prophets, you know. We follow the other than prophet, disaster. So in any way that we are doing, whatever we are doing, we should follow the prophets. That is a sure that we will attain successful. We should do this work of dawah with love and compassion. And love and affection. Not with force. Even people do not want, we don't fight with them. Kill them. It's okay. No problem. We will not kill you if you don't want to become Muslim. We do not ask you to get money, to give us money if you don't want to become Muslim. You are free. You can choose whether to believe or not. Why shouldn't we do this? Why the entire Muslim world do not say what the Sahaba is doing after the demise is right, is wrong? Nobody. They're just accepting it plain and blank. That is okay. It can be. That's why now many people, you know, went to take weapons to go to fight, and they say, this is the way our Sahaba is doing. After demise of Rasulullah. And this is what Nabi Sallam was doing. Nabi Sallam not doing it. They are forced to do it. So we shouldn't do dawah in that way. We should call people the way Nabi Sallam did in Mecca. When we are weak. And when we are strong, we still do the same like that. We still do the same as Nabi Sallam has been doing in Mecca. Not that when we become rich and we become powerful, we start to harass everybody and telling you don't become Muslim, pay money to us. If you don't, we fight you. If you do this, then we have the love of dunya. And we are actually not purifying our soul. We are degrading our soul. Making the love of dunya enter into our heart. As a result of that, after the demise of Rasulullah, not long after his death, 30 years only, the Sahaba is fighting with each other, killing with each other. They even killed their leader, the good person, Osman, and Ali, and Hassan, and Hussein. Such a trouble has, gone into the history of Islam, and we still do not recognize this as evils. We say it's good. Never we say this is wrong. To kill each other is not right. Why? Why we have gone into the state of disobedience, killing in one another? Because our heart is polluted with the love of dunya. How do the Sahaba obtain it when they have their pure heart at the time of Rasulullah? Because they have done the work of ta'muruna bil ma'ruf wa tanhauna 'anil munkar in their own way, not the way of Muhammad sallam. As a result of not doing the way of Muhammad sallam, they have acquired the love of dunya into their heart become polluted, their action become devilish, and that's why Islam destroyed and almost annihilated from the surface of the earth just after 30 years after the demise of Rasul. We shouldn't repeat that major error. We shouldn't repeat this wrongdoing. We should follow Muhammad sallallahu the way Allah has told him, has prescribed him, has teach him. As long as we follow Muhammad sallallahu the way Allah taught him, we will be saved. Allah will be with us. The love of dunya will not enter into our heart, but the love of dunya will get out from our heart, and the love of Allah will become, and we will reach the very purpose of our life, which is to become the lover of Allah.